Hey guys, so I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing Marvel fatigue or if we're just in a Marvel recession, given that there's really not been that many good Marvel products lately since Moon Knight. But I thought I'd go back and revisit the first three phases of MCU and, you know, give you guys my thoughts on them, because I'm too lazy to go through them all and make individual videos, and I don't want to rewatch them all because that's a lot of time. So today I'm going to be talking about phases one and two. I'll probably talk about phase three at some point in the future, probably next month. But yeah, phases one and two are kind of small phases, so I thought I'd just group them together in one video. So let's start off with the OG Iron Man. So I'm going to give this a B. Okay, first of all, let me just go through these phases. Well, my grades, tell you guys what they mean, because a lot of people think B means bad or not that good. S is like one of the best, like probably the best Marvel movies up here. A is I really really like these movies. They're some of my favorite movies, but they're not quite as good as S. B means very good, very good. Really enjoyed that, loved it, but not one of my favorite movies ever. C is good, solid movie. Um, perfectly solid. Wasn't outstanding, wasn't amazing, just a solid movie. D is it was okay. I enjoyed it. The popcorn was good. Don't think I'd ever revisit it, but I thought it was okay. F means yeah, no, I did not like this. It could have been better. There's certainly things I would change about it. But yeah, overall, I give that one, F. So negative experiences and horrible. That pretty much describes itself. Worse than an F. Just a bad movie overall. Almost nothing redeemable about it. So now that I've gone through those, I'm going to give Iron Man a B. Fantastic opening to Tony Stark and the Marvel Universe as a whole, and my main man Phil Coulson. I like how they introduce Tony as a flawed character but charismatic, and he only becomes better from here in terms of his character progression. So I like how we start off as him as quite flawed, so we see him grow in the future. So really enjoyed that. And coming off of the heels of a really good movie comes The Incredible Hulk, which is horrible. I hate this movie. I don't know what they were going for tonally, but it just wasn't working for me. The villain was very half baked. I did like Edward Norton in this, um, and I feel like Liv Tyler was good, but she didn't really wasn't given much to do. Then again, she wasn't really given much to do in Lord of the Rings either, so I guess that's all. I guess that's all stick. Um, Moving on to Iron Man 2, after the high expectations of Iron Man 1, it would be kind of hard to fulfill those, but it manages to do so badly that it gets F. I thought it was going to be good. I mean, I don't exactly remember going to it in the theater, so I was probably too young. But watching it on DVD, I thought I would get something better. But this is very boring. You could obviously tell it's setting up a lot of stuff that's going on in Avengers and Shield. It introduces Shield, introduces all these characters. But to me, it feels like it's not much of a movie in itself. You know what I mean? Like it's more focused on setting up future stories than being a story in itself. Which I feel is a problem Phase 4 has had lately, is that like all the time is dedicated to setting up other stuff and being its own movie. This video is sponsored by Halo, by the way. They're not paying me money. I just like the candy. Moving on to Thor. So Thor and I have always had a very rocky relationship. I thought Thor 1 is the second best Thor movie, so that's not really saying much. I'm gonna give it a D. I just wasn't a big fan. Um, it's just a very dry movie. Where Thor 4, Love and Thunder, felt like they were going too hard into the comedy that they took nothing seriously. Thor 1 has the opposite problem, where they take everything seriously. But there are some redeemable qualities to it. Like, I really love Anthony Hopkins as Odin. Anthony Hopkins excels in everything he's in. Chris Hemsworth really shines as Thor here. Natalie Portman doesn't get much to do. Neither does that one guy from Chernobyl. But I love Loki in this. Loki's always good. So it was a solid movie, but it's just really boring. And I don't think I'd ever revisit it. So sorry, Thor. But hey, the best is yet to come. And the worst. It's not the worst Thor movie. Okay, moving on to Captain America, the First Avenger. I also wasn't that big of a fan of this movie. Um, I just felt like they didn't really know what they were going for, and the pacing was way too slow for me. And I'm not one of those people who are like, I need action all the time. It's just that like nothing really felt like it was being accomplished. It just felt really slow. I like the 40s aesthetic, but I'm not really sure how historically accurate that was because nobody was smoking. And if they were, it was like for 2 seconds. So I don't know exactly know how historically accurate that was. I did love Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. I was kind of bummed that he didn't come back for Infinity War. But, I'm a huge Hugo Weaving fan. I'm a fan of The Matrix. I'm a fan of V for Vendetta, and especially Lord of the Rings. So it was cool seeing him as the Red Skull. But besides that, the movie's pretty unremarkable. Um, Steve and Peggy's romance is sweet, but I don't know. I basically forgot almost everything that happens in that movie. So maybe that's a me problem. Maybe I should revisit it. I don't know. Moving on to the Avengers, which finishes off Phase 1. I'm going to give that an A. I thought it was an excellent movie. Brought up, all the other movies leading up to it with very satisfying. One of the Joss Whedon movies I do like, before all that stuff came out about him. Yeah, just the dynamics of the characters here was really working for me. And they brought back the only memorable villain, which is Loki. So they brought him back, and very satisfying. Um, I like how Steve kind of takes center stage. He kind of immediately fits into the leader role. Um, Coulson getting killed off is sad, but it's not as sad when you realize he came back for 7 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it's kind of lessened. But overall, a very fun movie. I could watch it over and over again, as I have, so take for that as you will. Really enjoyed it. That's why I'm giving it an A, one of my favorite movies. Favorite MCU movies. Okay, we're starting into Phase 2, and with Iron Man 3, I'm going to give it a D. It's marginally better than Iron Man 2. At least stuff is happening in this. But it's not really that remarkable. I thought the Mandarin was cool. Or the fake Mandarin was cool. But overall, still doesn't compare to Iron Man 1. But like I said, an improvement over Iron Man 2. I forgot a lot of stuff that happened. I know that Gwyneth Paltrow's character became Iron Lady, which was kind of cool. Or Iron Maiden, as you might want to say. But overall, another unremarkable. That's why I'm giving it a D. Just kind of like, I don't remember anything that happened in it. Now, moving on to bad movies, we got Thor 2, straight on F. If you thought Thor 1 was boring, which I did, get ready for Thor 2, because that's even worse. Just there's really nothing to like about that movie. Besides, yes, once again, Tom Hiddleston's portrayal as Loki is very good. I feel like Christopher Eccleston, being the huge Doctor Who fan I was really excited to see him in this, but he really only had like 3 scenes, and he wasn't really the most memorable Marvel villain. And that's saying a lot because almost none of them were memorable. But yeah, I just thought it was really bad. Horrible. Not horrible. It wasn't horrible. It's just very bland. Like the first one, except they amped up the blandness. They tried too hard to be edgy, and it just wasn't cool. Moving on to Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I really enjoyed this movie. It's like the opposite of the Iron Man effect, where the sequels are actually better than the original. So yeah, very much enjoyed Captain America 2. It's very espionage thriller-esque, and I love the team up with him and Black Widow, and of course Falcon, before, he got boring. So yeah, a great movie. I loved how Nick Fury was kind of center stage. In the other movies, he was kind of like a supporting character, but I feel like in this, he really gets his chance to shine. And I love the twist at the end where you find out that Bucky is the Winter Soldier and how heartbreaking that is for Steve. And of course, it kind of like goes into the next few movies about him trying to rehabilitate him. And yeah, that's great. Loved it. Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm giving that an A. I absolutely love this movie. There's nothing I would change about it. Chris Pratt, it's one of the few roles I do like Chris Pratt in. The other one being Parks and Recreation, because I feel like he kind of plays the same character in everything he's in. But this one, it kind of matches the tone, so I like it. Also, I love the rest of the Guardians. You know, the chemistry is fantastic. Um, Zoe Saldana stands out as Gamora. She used to be a blue chick, now she's a green chick. Either way, she's cool. Karen Gillian actually gets stuff to do, unlike, Christopher Eccleston. I'm always rooting for my Doctor Who actors, so I love seeing Karen Gillian in something really big. Kind of was like the jumpstart of a career post Doctor Who, so that was fun to see. And the villain was actually pretty memorable, and there's some funny parts to it, but they don't let the funny parts undercut the serious moments. Like the characters still take things seriously. We're still expected to take things seriously. That's what makes Guardians of the Galaxy work, because you're actually supposed to give a shit. Moving on to Avengers: Age of Ultron, I'm gonna give it a C. Um, I really liked this movie. Better than not as good as Avengers 1, but still better than some of those standalone movies that Phase 1 and Phase 2 had some really forgettable standalone movies. But Age of Ultron is another fun movie. I think it's very underrated when it comes to Marvel movies because a lot of people seem to not like it for some reason. Maybe because they're comparing it too negatively to Avengers 1. But I think as a movie in itself, it stands on its own pretty well. Ultron's a pretty good villain. I think he was a little bit too comedic, but I've watched it since, and I enjoyed him more on rewatch than I did when I was 12. Oh, that was a long time ago. Jeez. But it also introduces the Scarlet Witch, who's a very interesting character. It's kind of ruined in Doctor Strange too, but Heelsy's kind of cool, and I like how she progresses throughout most of the movies. And yeah, I don't know. I just love the dynamics of the team. Could have used more Nick Fury though. Could have used more of him. Moving on to Ant-Man, I'm also putting him in C. It's just a very, after the more explosive events of the Winter Soldier and Avengers Ultron, um, Ant-Man was a lot more like back to basics thing, which I enjoyed. I like kind of the low stakes of the Ant-Man movies. And Paul Rudd has this instant likability to him. Anything he's in, you like him. I've seen him in Parks and Rec and Friends. He kind of plays similar characters and everything, but yeah, I don't know. Who doesn't like Paul Rudd? And Evangeline Lilly is also really good. I've been a fan of her since I saw Lost like quite a few years ago. So it's nice to see her in like some bigger roles. And the guy who played her dad was good in it too. I forgot his name. Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas was good in it. It's better than Wall Street. Wall Street was so boring. But yeah, that is my tier list for phases 1 and 2. Let me know what your favorite is. Do you think I'm being too hard on The Incredible Hulk for thinking it's a horrible movie? Or do you think it's like the underrated gem of the MCU? I don't think anybody thinks that. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I'll be back with phase 3 sometime in September, I guess. I don't know. I have a lot of videos going on, especially with those Sherlock Holmes stuff and Torchwood and the end of Better Call Saul and Westworld. So subscribe if you're into any of that. And until then, gotta find out how to end it because I don't usually stream. So